What's up, Metal Summoners? As always, it is so awesome to see you guys. We appreciate you. We appreciate support of the show, and we appreciate your support of our amazing guests. It is back to your Island of Misfit Toys with myself and with Angel, and we are all stoked about tonight. Great conversations as always, good people and close personal friends as we bring back TMS alumnus Ty Oliver is joining us, Raygun Romance Mastermind, guitarist for Orgy. First and foremost, man, thank you so much for giving us some of your evening, Ty. We really appreciate you, man, and welcome back. It's great to see you, my friend.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. It's absolutely our pleasure. So it's been a couple of months since the last time that you and I got to hang because you are out kicking ass and playing with Orgy right now.
Yeah. We got, I saw you like we were talking about before the show started, the Baltimore show, which was an awesome venue. That was great. And yeah, thanks for coming to the show and hanging backstage. And it was good to see you and touch base. And, like I said, it was a bit chaotic back there, but yeah, you guys hung out and weathered the storm, so to speak. So yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. But from the looks of everything, from not only like your post but the band's social media post, like that appeared to be a really successful tour for you guys.
Yeah, it man, it was almost every show was like seemingly sold out, or just it was very well attended. And yeah, great shows, man. I think there was only, honestly, on the whole thing, there was like one kind of dud, and that was in, Tallahassee, Florida, which is funny because we were there, and I was looking around at this. It's like this I think it used to be called the Warrior on the River or something like that. And I remember we parked, and I was looking around, and I'm like, I swear I've been here before. And Power Man played there. And it had like just opened, and it was like the same deal. It was like, nobody there. Fucking, they had like the mixing board, the box for it was like in where we were changing our clothes and stuff, and like they had just set it up, and like clearly they like weren't ready, and I was like, and somebody mentioned like, yeah, this place used to be called Warrior on the River. I'm like, I knew it was the fucking same place. I knew it. So it was still fun, and it was definitely better attended than the Power Man one, but that was the one show that like out of the whole thing that like just kind of like wasn't packed out, and we still had fun though. So, but yeah, it was a good tour. It was a fucking awesome tour. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Hell yeah. And we had also talked off the air about both of us also just being mutual Orgy fans, but talk a little bit about how you got involved with playing with the band, because you've been doing your solo thing for a while now, which we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah. Talk about, picking the guitar back up and getting involved with the Orgy camp.
That's yeah, absolutely. So, I met the guys. I met Orgy when Power Man toured with them in 2017. That's how I met them. And I was a fan, just like I was a fan of Power Man, same kind of deal. I literally used to have their posters right next to each other on my walls. I still have posters on my walls. I never grew up. But, so met them then, and I just stayed in touch, like, with Carlton and his girlfriend Erica. I'm buds with them. They live close by. And Nick from Orgy and Jay, I'd see him from time to time when he'd come over to Carlton's or whatever, or just running them around Hollywood. And then whenever they played here, I'd always go because I'm a fan, So, and Lou, Jay's dad, was always super nice to me and get me in and like, always be happy to see me. And so just stayed in their circle a bit, and not because I was trying to get a gig. I was just a fan. And so, yeah, when I left Power Man like a little over 2 years ago, and I wasn't playing guitar at all. I was just focusing on my solo stuff and just really not picking up guitar at all. And then I just out of nowhere, like I got a text from Carlton like 2 weeks before the whole tour was kicking off, this Orgy tour, and he's like, "Hey man, our guy dropped out. Would you be interested?" And I was like, fucking absolutely. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, yes. I'm like, I haven't played guitar in like 2 years, so I got some rust to shake off, and I'm like, I'll do whatever it takes. I'm like, I'll quit my job, fucking whatever, I'll do it. And so yeah, I crammed. I had to, and then he sent me like 18 songs, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, Jesus Christ. And so I stressed out and just did my homework for fucking all the way up until the day we left. I mean, even the day we left on the bus to drive to Chicago, I was still like figuring out parts here and there, and like, you know, so, but it worked out. And so, yeah, I got the guitar back in my hands. And as soon as we did the first show, I was like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, man. I was like, it just all came back, and I'm like, I'm back, baby.
Nice.
Oh yeah, totally.
Dude, that's killer, Ty. And there's one part of that tour too that I couldn't wait to ask you about, just again as us being like mutual Orgy fans, and that's your show with the Whiskey A Go Go. Yes. Because you guys had a guest come on stage that I'm still super jealous about, that you got to get that taste of almost, you know, a fully original, you know, orgy in. You had Paige appear.
Yeah, so, and I didn't know anything about that. And we like ran late to that show. There was a whole bunch of shenanigans leading up to that one, but we ran late because our bus wasn't working right. And so we get there, we didn't get the sound check. We just ran up on stage. And then I think somewhere along the way, within not that long of us playing, somebody's like, oh, Paige is here. I think he's going to jump up and do Opticon. I was like, what? Are you serious? It's like, dude, awesome. And yeah, then the next thing you know, we're playing Opticon, and there he is right next to me. And he's like the nicest fucking guy. Probably one of the nicest people I've ever met. And super humble, super cool, just smiles and like, you know, welcoming and nice. And yeah, he jumped up and played Opticon, and it was awesome. That was so cool. Yeah. Nice. Definitely a highlight for me, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man, for sure. And before I kick it over to Angel for a little while, you guys have announced that you've got an upcoming tour.
Yeah, so we're gonna do some 3 dates in Australia with Cold again. And those guys are awesome, super good people, and killer type band. Yeah, we're doing 3 dates in Australia at the end of October, but then we're also doing in September the Louder Than Life Festival. I think it's in Kentucky. And then October, we're also doing Aftershock Festival in California. So yeah, so a couple festivals, and then the Australia run. Yeah,
that's awesome, man, for sure. Hell yeah. Angel, let's kick it over to you, my friend.
Hey, that's awesome. You're going to Australia. First of all, how you doing, Ty?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Just fine, man. Sorry, just very excited. You say the question instead of saying hello first. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries, man.
How did the Australian tour come about?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's just between, you know, booking and Lou and Jay, and I don't know. That's the behind the scenes stuff that I'm not privy to, but I mean, I'm sure TKO or the booking agent or whoever, you know, put it together and pitched it, and they said yeah. So which I'm stoked about. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm psyched. I've never been. Yeah, so it's gonna be.
It'll be summer.
Awesome.
No, that's awesome. It'll be summertime in Australia when you actually go.
Yeah, somebody was mentioning that. They were like, it's the opposite of whatever we're at, and I was like, okay, cool. I mean, whatever. I'm going. Rain or shine. Yeah.
Someone that's just as excited as me is Brian. So let me get to his questions first. Sure. Tell us about your backdrop.
What, the stuff behind me?
Yep.
It's a bunch of just random fanboy posters of like movies and bands. I just never phased out of that. I still put stuff up. You know, I don't know. I think I go over to like adults' houses and they have things framed, and that just takes too much time. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna pin it on my wall, and there you go. So I used to have more stuff, and yeah, I used to have, you know, Orgy, Power Man, you name it, lots of Power Man stuff, lots of Orgy stuff, Buck Cherry. But over the years, I've moved a bunch, and then it just gets kind of tiring to pack it up and carry it. So I just have this stuff as of now. And there's like some posters from the Orgy tour. And then somebody gave me at a Portland show, this fan they just surprised me, and they gave me these 2 records with like the Raygun logos on them, which is really, I thought it was fucking really cool.
That's awesome.
Anybody that gives a shit about Raygun Romance is like, gets a gold star for me, because I know, you know, most people probably don't even know what it is. But yeah, so that's just random band posters and movies posters and stuff.
And you got the In Excess one. Man, they're Australian.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite band. I'm a total nerd for that band. As I get older, it's like I'm like leaning really hard into it. I'm like I've loved them since I was 14, and it's not about like shredding guitars or what. I don't know why that band has just stayed my favorite thing since I was 14. Yeah, I think if I was going to be any rock star, I'd probably be Michael Hutchence. Yeah.
Same here, brother. He's got like Jim Morrison, poetic.
Yeah, I'm noticing the Jim Morrison thing a bit as time goes on. I'm like, oh, okay, I see why people say that. Yeah.
Man, he writes the best freaking lyrics.
Who? Jim Morrison or Michael Hutchence? Yeah, him and it. Yeah, he's awesome, man. I have a huge man crush on that dude. So, if you follow me on any social media, you're probably going to see me posting something about INXS, at some point soon. Sooner or later.
We still miss him.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
for sure.
Another question, Brian. The single craziest thing you've seen while on stage?
Thing that I've seen? Shoot. I can't say anything crazy that I saw happen, but I've fallen over a couple times, and that's always a fun moment. I tripped over Merv once in Power Man, and that was like, I'm surprised it didn't happen more often. But then, and I just played it off as best I could, and got up and just pretended like it didn't happen. But and then this last tour, it's like, I don't know, like a few shows in, and we were playing a smaller place, Iowa, and this guest vocalist came up at the end, and he blew Monday that Jay knew, and the next thing I know, everyone's moving around a lot, and I don't know what happened, but he was crossing behind me or something, and the next thing I know, I was just like fucking legs in the air, my feet over my head, just falling right on my ass, like guitar out of my hands, the whole nine, and I just scrambled and grabbed it and tried to again play it off, and I think a couple people saw it, but like everyone else was like, "You fell down?" And I was like, "Dude, you didn't fucking see that." As far as crazy things on stage, though, nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, sorry, I guess that's that. Yeah, I don't have the best answer for that one, but.
Brian also wants to know your favorite Limp Bizkit song.
Oh boy. I don't have one because I never liked them. You guys can talk shit, it's fine. I get it. Like, I hated the rap rock thing. I hated it.
Same here.
I hated it. God, man, I remember that band was so fucking massive, and I hated it. I hated the fucking. Everyone's suddenly has a DJ in their band. Everyone's like, yo. I didn't like it. So, but I have more respect for it now. Looking back, because they're obviously a fucking tight ass band, and they're all talented and really good. I just didn't like that movement at the time, so I never really got into Limp Bizkit. Sorry.
That's all right. I didn't like the whole DJ thing either. I was like,
come on, what? This is what's happening. All right, but yeah.
I think they replaced.
I'm like stuck in the '80s, so go figure. But yeah. But they're and I know they're kicking ass live right now, so good on them. Like fucking A.
That hurts. Brett's my uncle. We're just kidding, Brian. Just kidding.
I mean, I'm sure if I was face to face with Fred Durst, I would be like, "Oh my God, you guys are amazing." I take back.
I like your first song, "Nookie," and your cover of George Michael's "Faith."
Yeah, Faith.
That's about the only two I know.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I know they're a tight band, and I just never got into the rap rock thing, and they were like the kings of that whole thing at the time. Them, and I'm surprised that it's interesting that Linkin Park has become the like iconic band that they were, because I just remember them coming out, and I was like, oh, it's like another Limp Bizkit, just younger kids or something. But clearly they've done very well for themselves. So who the fuck am I?
One question I definitely have is in past interviews with other artists, they've been talking about how the record industry, they're not musicians anymore. They are T-shirt salesmen. Wondering if you can give us your thought on the music business today.
I mean, yeah, it's clearly gone through a big change. It's you're not selling a million records anymore. It's all streaming. And just and tours are like you make your money live and make that your money off merch. But yeah, I mean, in a way, I see what they mean by like, oh, I'm just basically out here promoting merch to make money. But yeah, it's just different. It's not. You don't make a ton of money off album sales anymore, and you're basically relying on your touring and merch to make a buck. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't give the best answer because I've only ever been in these two bands and I'm a hired gun and I'm part of something that's already established by somebody else. So they would know better than me, the person running the band. But just from what I've seen in general and in the big picture of the music world, yeah, it's like bands are just really relying on that live show and the merch stuff to make a living at it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brian, I want to know, have you been the victim of the 10% merch cut by venues?
Not me, no, because I'm not selling any merch. I'm just there. But I'm sure, I know, like, yeah, I've heard. I remember hearing Spider talk about certain venues wanted to take X amount of merch sales, and I mean, dude, that sucks. I mean, that I wouldn't be stoked about that, But I mean, everyone's just trying to fucking make a buck, and it's cutthroat, man. Everyone's just trying to get by and make a buck off the whole thing. So, yeah.
So, besides the Australian tour, what else do you have going on?
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm working on a bunch of more new Raygun songs, or a few at the moment. I just haven't been super active on the Raygun socials at all, and I super suck for that. I don't have a definite answer on when I'm going to be done with something or when it's coming. So I've kind of gone to this weird, like, I'm just going to not say anything until I know what's going on. And then I'll be like, boom, this is what's happening. But I finished a song at the beginning of the year. It's done. It's been done. And then the orgy thing happened. So that I kind of got distracted and wasn't worrying about anything solo at all until I got back. And then when I got back, I was like, I don't want to just put out one song. I'm feeling creative again. I kind of want to get together at least 3 or 4 songs and do like a little EP or something. So that's what I've been tinkering around with. I've got, like I said, one totally done, and I'm literally looking at my laptop right now. I've got 2. One I started a long time ago. I've brought it back to life, and it's becoming a finished thing. And then one brand new one that I started like a couple weeks ago that's coming along really well. And then I was thinking about doing possibly a cover, but I'm also just I want to get this done and get it out. I'd like to get it out before the year's over, but I can't give a definite answer on that. So I'm just working on a bunch of new solo tunes on my own, and then yeah, there's going to be like orgy rehearsal soon, so I'll kick into that gear when that starts coming up. But yeah, tinkering away on some new Raygun stuff, and trying to just get some songs done so I can like, okay, I'm going to put this out, and then start working on artwork and when it's coming, etc. Yeah, and working, of course, a ton. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Back up to Jay.
Yeah, no worries. Absolutely. Ty, you were talking about when you had like a bunch of songs sent to you when you joined the Orgy tour and stuff like that. And I was kind of curious, was there like any song or songs in particular that you were like super jazzed to learn, or that you're so hyped to play? Like, again, you and I are old school Orgy guys, and we love all that old school stuff. Like I'll say for myself, I'm a huge like Wide Awake and Dead fan. I absolutely love that song to death.
Me too, man.
But was there any song or songs in particular that you were like super hyped to learn from what you were sent, or even just in general?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Sucker Face a lot. I love that song. The song's awesome. Super fun to play. Stitches. Oh, dude, the Queen of the Damned. Slept So Long.
Felt so long.
Fuck, man, that song is so fun, and one of my favorite, moments in the set every night. And that was just, it was quick, it was easy to learn, and it's fun. And then Opticon, of course. Jay hates that song. We'll probably not play anymore, but he's always like making fun of me because I like it so much. He's like, it's butt rock. We're not playing that anymore. I was like, what? But yeah, that one was fun to learn. Came to me pretty quick. And then, some of just the classic stuff. And it's just fun to like dig in. Oh, dude. Dreams and Digital, obviously. But that one's a little more, I don't know, it's different when it comes on live. I like it, and I love that song, but playing it live is like some of the other ones are more groovy and just, they have a big groove and they really like translate to live. So,
yeah.
But yeah, just like, like I said, Opticon, Slept So Long, I'm trying to think of Stitches, some of the classic stuff, like, was just like, fuck yeah, man, this is awesome. So,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
For sure. So Ty, I want to get into what's relevant and okay to talk about with Raygun Romance. So
sure.
You were talking about it. Hey, anybody give a shit? Look, dude, I give a shit. I love Raygun Romance, dude. I've got it all.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate it, man.
No, absolutely. And I really do dig it.
Thank you.
And I wanted to start off with your kind of initial singles, because you did some really cool collaborations, like, and some of the people and bands that were featured on Raygun singles were super duper cool. Like, I also go way back with Ryan Shuck.
Yeah,
and
totally, man.
And of your singles with collaborations, Eyes Wide Open is probably my favorite of like your singles with collaborations.
Okay.
With Shut Off, right, nipping at its heels.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start with those two and talk about, like, how you got involved with Ryan for that single, if it wasn't just from the scene, as well as Aesthetic Perfection for Shut Off.
Yeah. So yeah, dude, thank you for the love on it. I appreciate it, man.
Of course.
So okay, so the Daniel Graves one, honestly, I didn't know him at all. I've never met him in person. I've seen him in person around Hollywood years ago, but I never actually was like, hey, nice to meet you. But I just literally, I was just finding people. I was like, off the top of my head, like, oh man, because I didn't have technically a singer really that was like going to be the singer. I was like, I'm just going to hit up people I think would fit. And I just randomly sent him an email and offered the song to him and said, hey man, would you be interested in doing anything on this? And like 2 months later, he just sent it back and it was done. He's like, here you go. No questions asked. Didn't ask for any money. Was like totally cool about it. And, rocked it out. And that was amazing. That was like awesome. So that's how that happened. And the Ryan Shuck one, well, he was singing for Edema and Powerman. The last tour I did with Powerman in 2019 was with Edema when he was singing for them. And so every day we're hanging all the time. So I just right off the top, I was like, dude, I've got this music project. I'm gonna harass you until you sing on it. And he's the nicest guy. And he was like, yeah, of course, I'll do it.
Love
I'm like, no, I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm gonna bother you until you agree to do it. And that's basically what I did. And then like we got back from tour and I hit him up on the right day and he was like, yeah, come on over. And like me and the guy that I've been working with for at the time he was mixing and mastering everything, and then now he's the mastering engineer on the stuff. He rolled with me and basically produced the session and did his, helped him arrange the vocals, and he just did it on the fly. We brought the song over, he listened to it and just started like ad-libbing and throwing stuff in, and we went to his pad and hung out, which was awesome because there's all this like Julian K and Orgy, memorabilia and like Dead by Sunrise stuff, and like it was really fucking cool. And yeah, Nice Guy knocked it out, and then after that, like, yeah, that's how those collabs came about. And the singer that I had on it originally was somebody I knew from MySpace days. I was a fan of her solo stuff, and I just hit her up. I was like, because I wasn't singing, I was never intending it to be live, or it was just going to be a studio thing. So I hit her up and was like, hey, I've got this project. Would you be interested? She said, yeah. So she was like a hired gun for those initial songs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then it, as it went on, I kept writing music, and she was doing her own thing. And like, she did those songs initially, and then she wasn't involved in it anymore. And I kept writing, and I wanted to keep going. So I was like, well, I'll just hit up random singers and have random people sing on songs, you know. And that became pretty frustrating because I wanted to put stuff out, and I was always kind of chasing somebody around and like on that way for them, and it's not their priority, so I understand. But it got frustrating to the point where I was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm gonna try singing on something, which at the time I felt like I was out of my mind, because I was never a singer. That was never in my wheelhouse, karaoke at best. And so, but I just got to the point where I was like, I want to keep the project going, and I'm getting tired of chasing people around. So I tried singing, and then it led to just me becoming the singer on the project, because it somehow, I kind of wedged my way in there and faked it enough to where I feel like it worked. But now I'm like singing on it. So, and I have the power to do things when I want, put things out when I want, kind of thing. I know that was a very long-winded answer.
No, you're all good, brother. Yes, and that's basically like, and there's also kind of the answer to people that are familiar or about to get familiar with, you know, why it's your voice on Between the Lines, as opposed to, you know, the previous singles. And I'm drawing a blank on his band at the time, but I interviewed Danny years ago.
Danny Blue, Danny Blue. He's awesome, dude.
And I thought that was a really, really cool song as well.
Yeah, and that was one of those ones in the in between phase where, and same with Clint Carney from System Sin. I'm a big fan of his too. So, that's where I kind of kept the project going, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and I was just hitting up random people. And Danny was one of the people that he started putting out some solo electronic stuff, and I really liked it. And I'm like, oh, this guy would probably fit great over something. And so I hit him up, and same kind of deal. Like, you know, he was down. He liked a song. He's like, yeah, I'm down to do this one. And then that took a minute for him to, you know, deal with his schedule, etc. And we did a video for it that him and his team put together, which is I was so grateful. And so that's how that one came about. But right around the same time, I had another song Clint Carney. I hit him up randomly, and he responded. And he got like literally like within 24 hours, he hit me back. He's like, done. Here you go. Oh, holy shit. So that's how those happened. But then then it got to the point where, again, like I was like, all right, I can't chase people around. I gotta take the power. And you know, so I started singing, and I've been doing it since, you know. So and it's really fun. It's fucking fun as shit, you know.
Oh, absolutely. What was Naked like your first song where you were the singer? Since it was a single. Because
I was like, well, let me try with a cover song, because I'd never written lyrics, or, you know, I'd never written music as a singer. So I was like, well, let me try a cover that I think is in, you know, my sort of range that I could do, like a karaoke, and it kind of just it worked out. And I showed it to a couple people, and I didn't get this like awful reaction. So I was like, okay, I think I'm onto something here.
Right.
And then I tried my hand at writing some original stuff, and that was that song Only Down. And it just, once that one came, I was like, okay, it's on. Like I'm fucking down, you know, like, let's do this. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Is that obviously, because you were out of Power Man at the time, and obviously this is pre-Orgy, so you had that time for solo musical creation. Is that kind of how it worked for it to be like a full album? Because it's damn sure not an EP, you know, it's a full on album.
Yeah.
With the songs in between the lines.
So I basically had been doing singles, and like you were mentioning before, it started to get confusing to me because there's like these songs that I put out with other singers, and then there's a song with me on it, and it just started getting. I'm like, I just wanted to clean up the clutter and make everything a very streamlined. You know, this is the project statement. So I took the singles that I'd already done, and I kind of just went back and like retracked some vocals, you know, beefed up some drums and just beef things, just treated the mixes better because at this point it'd been a couple of years that I've been doing it, and I was listening to the old singles and being like, I was cringing at some stuff, and I was like, God, I want to fix that. So went back, just updated some stuff on the songs that I'd already put out, and then put on the brand new one, Between the Lines, and there was a song that I had done and I just hadn't put it out, which was called Like This. So there's 2 new ones, and then what I felt like were the best songs that I'd already put out, and but like updated versions, and then I had it all like remastered properly by my buddy David Nazi, who's amazing, and I felt like that was like, okay, this is the project. Like before, it was sort of not clear, and like this is Raygun Romance, and moving forward, like that's the start. That was like the definitive like point, you know, like this is it, you know. So yeah, that makes sense.
No, absolutely, for sure. And before I kick it back to Angel, is obviously you're in orgy mode, you know, and understandably so when it comes to that. What's just kind of your current, even just casual headspace on playing your music live? It's not uncommon for even musicians in a full-on touring band to kind of even be their band's openers at time. I've seen a lot of, because again, I love this scene as well with like the Power Mans, the Orgies, the Julian K's, that where like you and like Angel, we weren't rap rock fans when it came to like, you know, being involved in rock bands that way. But bands of this style having like kind of a DJ electronic-esque opener is not uncommon for tours. Have you ever thought about doing something like that? Even if you're not.
Yeah, so for a while there, especially I'd say last good part of the last year and a half or almost 2 years, I was really like basically once I left Power Man in spring of 22. And so then, and I wasn't ever planning on doing Raygun Romance live, but I hit a point where a buddy of mine was like, he kind of got the seed planted in my head. He's like, dude, you should do it live. And once I started thinking about it, I got really excited about it. I bought a mic, I started practicing at home and like trying to work up the backing tracks. And I was really gunning towards doing it live. And I had one false start after another with like, because I didn't want to go up there and be just me with like backing tracks. I'm like, that's just going to be karaoke and it's fucking kind of lame. And like, that's not entertaining to watch. Like even me, I don't want to go to a show and just see one person up there doing, that's just it for the whole set. It's going to get boring really fast. So maybe somebody else can pull it. But for me, I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I wanted to at least have one other person up there, maybe doing keys or something, so it's not just me. So I reached out to several people, had a few false starts with a few different people, where I'd send them the tracks, we'd do a rehearsal, and then like, things would start to get going, and then they'd kind of have one thing would happen, or they'd kind of flake out for one reason or another. And so it just kind of kept not quite happening. And then even up to the beginning of this year, I was rehearsing with a buddy of mine, this guy Kay Dolores, who's got his own band, Suicide Queen, which is, I used to play guitar for them before I moved to LA. And anyways, so we were meeting up and just for fun, rehearsing and trying to get a set going. And I don't know, I'm not. And then the orgy thing came along, and I got my live kicks, so I'm not like dying to do it live. I don't really think I'm gonna do it. I might, who knows? You never say never, but I was gunning for it, and now I'm kind of like, I'm good. I'm fine putting out songs and doing videos and just having it be a studio thing. I get to play live with Orgy, and it's a killer kick-ass rock band. So like totally get my live kicks from that. So
Nice.
and I I don't know, maybe if the right people came along, we put together a good, visual thing, and the tracks were all lined, it was all together. Like I would entertain doing it Raygun live, but it's got to be the right thing. I don't want it to be hokey or lame. Like it's got to have impact and be cool and entertaining. So until I reach that point and nail that, I'm not in a big hurry to do it. Yeah.
No, for sure, absolutely. And of course and when it comes to like for Raygun here, of course there are like financials that kind of come with it. For people like myself, but for people that are interested, have you put any thought, even in a small amount, of like some type of like Raygun merch?
Oh shit, yeah. I want to. Man, it's just tough because I struggle to get people to even listen to it. So
understandable.
Yeah, and so until I see, like, I want to, man. I really do, and I should. But I'd love to do like a run of shirts or something. But until I see enough people, I'm getting enough, of an audience. Like I don't want to put out merch and just have nobody buy it. You know what I mean?
No, of course. No, I totally understand. But also, for what it's worth, I'll text you over the email of my friends Mark and Janet. They have their own clothing company, and they currently live in California.
Oh, okay. Right on.
So
cool.
that way, that way you at least have it, and then if it kind of strikes your brain, or it looks like it'll sync up the way you want it to, you have somebody you can reach out to and just talk about that with.
Yeah, totally. And I dude, it's tough because fuck, man, you gotta like constantly be pushing yourself. You have to have like a team to like push the whole thing and like constantly be cranking out content. And it's just me. And like, I tried to keep up with it for a while on the social media and stuff. And I'm not saying I'm not going to, I just got burned out and like discouraged because I put all this time and energy into something and get such little return that I just started being like, you know what, I'm just gonna take my time. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm doing it because I love it. Yes, I would love 1 million people to listen to it and blow up, but so I've just that's why I haven't been active on it, which is, it's not helping anybody. It's basically hurting me to not be active, but it needs some love, and I've been kind of slacking on it and just focusing on writing music and worried about the other shit later, at the moment. But yeah.
Totally, for sure. And Angel, my apologies. I'm going to kick it over to you, brother. I got one more thing for Ty on this topic because I'm on like a Raygun Romance like roll.
No, thank you. I appreciate giving that attention, man.
No, of course, absolutely, man. And honestly, to somebody might be like, well, it's easy for him to say that because it's his friend. Well, of course, it's easy for anybody to say cool things to their friend, but I like the music, I care about the band, and I have curiosity questions, so I'm gonna lay it on thick. Your press, your like photos you've done like for the singles and stuff have been really cool. They've been like really sharp, and I love the photography angles that you have done for the Raygun Romance one. Even the photo that I used for your guest announcement, I loved, with the long mic stand. I thought it was such a cool shot.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's all my friend Erica Vincent. She's a rad photographer. That's Carlton from Orgy's lady. And I've known her, since pretty much I met her on the tour we did with Orgy in 2017, and just been buds with her since. And she's been always super cool and like down to shoot, and has given always does killer work, and is super just like, come over and shoot, let's do something whenever you want, and always gets killer stuff. So that's totally on her. Every time we do something, there's always at least a few shots where I'm like, damn, these are awesome. I end up using them. So yeah.
For sure. Absolutely. Angel, my good man, appreciate you. Let's kick it back over to you.
And when it comes to songwriting, do you just, I'll just make a 2-part question. When you're on the road, do you ever do songwriting while you're on the road?
I haven't, because I'm usually just in I'm just in like tour mode, and yeah, I'm not even thinking about. I'm not really creative on the road. It's more just about the show and the day to day, and yeah, I'm just sort of in that mode. So I haven't been creative on the road now. Other people might. I just sort of go into like tour mode, and that's like single focus. You know what I mean? Until I get back. You know.
When you're writing, all right, how do you know when you want to keep working on a song, and how do you know when a song is finished?
Very good question. Currently dealing with that right now. It's tough because sometimes things click really fast and come together really quick without a whole lot of like struggle. And then other times, man, I'll be stumped on something. I'll give up on it. I'll fucking ditch it. I'll come up with something I really like, and then the rest of it, I'm just like, it's like pulling teeth to kind of try to figure out, you know, the rest of the puzzle pieces. It's tough. I haven't cracked the code yet. It's always sort of like a happy accident that like I'll just start tinkering with something. Like with Raygun stuff, it's always like I just go. I might have something that I'm inspired by, say a breakup or, you know, something else, depression or whatever, and then I go and I'll just start tinkering with my keyboard and maybe come up with a bass line or a drum beat, and then I come up with a keyboard line over it that I like, and that's kind of where it starts. And if I find something that I get excited about, then I'll start building on it from there, and it just usually goes from there. And sometimes things click together really fast. Other times I come up with a great part, and then I'm stumped for weeks, months, and then I might go back to it, and suddenly it comes to life. Or I might work on something and just get to a certain point and be like, this sucks, I'm over it, and just ditch it. So it's a mixed bag, man. In fact, there's one of the songs I'm working on right now. I was super excited about it. I think I started on it last August, September maybe, and I was all about it. And I got to a point, and then I showed it to somebody, and she was like, "Oh, it just kind of sounds like something you've already done." And I got all like bummed out. I was like, "Oh, fuck this song." So, and then I didn't touch it for a while. And I listened to it more recently. I was like, "This is fucking great! Like, I'm finishing this." So I'm working on it right now. And it's coming together really well, and I'm psyched. So it's just, you never know, man. You never know. It's like, it's such a mystery, the creative thing, and how it, you know, comes together. And you know, I'm always like, am I ever going to be able to write another good song? Is that it? Did I run out of ideas? It's sort of always like, I'm always kind of on that tip a little bit, you know?
When it comes to titles, have you ever come up with a cool title in your head and decided to write a song around that?
I want to say yeah, but like I think in the beginning when I was first writing lyrics, and you know, I would just write really. I'm sort of was trying really hard to be like, I don't know, hard to read, and just trying to be clever with words and whatnot. So I would just more kind of put phrases together that I thought sounded cool, and you know, it would definitely have some anchor in like something that was related to me. But I guess as far as like a title and then writing off of that, no. But I guess the Raygun Romance vibe is like, I'm usually trying to keep things in that sort of futuristic, sexy thing vibe, if that makes sense. I don't know. That's always kind of the angle I'm trying to go for. But yeah, I guess I don't know if any of that made any sense. So, but yeah, no, I don't usually typically come up with title. If I come up with a title, then it's usually inspired by something specific, and then I'm going to, base it around, try to write around that. If that makes sense. Taking a sip.
For the touring, what's the best part and the worst part about being on the road?
Best part is most of everything. Well, playing shows and just getting to fucking do that, and that's the only thing you have to do that day is like show up in a different city and play a rad venue, and it's just fucking fun. I mean, it's not reality. It's like this fantasy camp for a month, you know, and you get to go play Rockstar, and it's awesome. But the downside, not being able to like shower sometimes. Food's always an issue. Just basic stuff that like day to day you take for kind of for granted. Nothing major or like catastrophic, but just little shit like I want to change my pants, and the only pants I have are in this suitcase that's underneath the bus. So I gotta go fucking. It's like a whole little things are an ordeal, and then you know the bathroom you can only take a piss in it. So everyone's concern is like there's that whole thing, the bathroom issue. Showering, like I said, sometimes the schedules are just wacky, and you don't really, you're up super late, and then you sleep in until your schedule gets off. You just get on a whole different routine, and it's just sort of, it's just little things like the show's over, you're hungry as fuck, and there's nowhere to eat. So what are you gonna do? Just stuff like that. It's fucking little inconveniences. It's like it's nothing that's like a huge bummer. The bus breaking down multiple times on the road, and that sucked. That was not fun. But even still, it's better than fucking working a 9 to 5 and being at a desk and punching a clock. I mean, I'll take any bullshit on the road over 9 to 5 day job bullshit any fucking day of the week, any day. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
No, it does. I mean,
yeah.
Because again, as fans, we think the travel is so glamorous and wonderful and beautiful, but we know that there's headaches that happen out there on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And it happened a bunch in this last year. We had like a bunch of bus trouble. We switched buses like 5 times, which it's like basically moving your house into another house. And it's like, it's just, you never feel settled quite. And like, so that sucked, but even still, I mean, I had a blast. I don't care. It was still fun as fuck. I'd do it again. I have no complaints, man. It's all part of the fun,
Is this gonna be your first time going to Australia for a show?
Yeah, yes. Was supposed to go with Power Man in 2020, and then obviously the world fucking shut down, and that didn't happen. But so I'm psyched because I got into this gig, just in time for them to go to Australia. So I'm gonna go, baby. It's happening. Yeah.
And when you're playing overseas, what's like the language barrier like when you're playing overseas in a country?
I don't know, because this will be my first time doing it. I've only done U.S. stuff, Alaska, Canada, but yeah, I haven't done any overseas stuff. So I'm psyched. I'd love to go to like Japan or London or whatever. But this will be my first time going somewhere somewhere off the continent.
Man, that's awesome going to Australia.
Yeah. It's gonna be dope, dude. Yeah.
Just don't fly Spirit Airlines.
I don't know. I'm not the one making the flights, but yeah, they're not the greatest. Yeah.
Angel Frontiers doesn't like you now either.
Oh, fuck them.
Wait, which one's front? There's a Frontiers airline?
Yeah, you don't want to know about them. They'll have like flight troubles mid-air and return back twice because they can't fix the fucking thing.
Okay. I'll take your word for it, man.
Yeah, not like, we cannot go higher than 10,000 feet. Well, just fly 10,000 fucking feet and get me to Cleveland.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. All right. Yeah.
But I don't think it flies Frontier.
No, that flight to Australia though, it's supposedly like super long, and I'm just kind of like I'm dreading it a little bit. I'm like, oh God, how am I gonna get through that? I'm gonna fucking, I don't know, knock myself out somehow.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of sleep. I mean, you may get to catch up on sleep on the flight.
Yeah, that's my plan. I'm gonna try to sleep through it as much as I can. You know, I mean, or watch like 20 movies. Who knows? Definitely gonna be some cocktails. You know. Yeah, man.
We'll kick it right back up to our buddy Jay.
Totally, no problem. And you know what, Ty? It's kind of funny that you mentioned the word cocktails because that's the direction I wanted to go next. Because
let's go.
I double in the daytime as a bartender, and that's the day job, as something that I know you know all too well. How did you get involved in that? Because I stumble across fun reels with you where you're spinning around, shaking drinks.
Yeah, it's just me being a fucking goofball at work. But yeah, dude. So I mean, dude, because touring, you know, I got the Power Man gig, and I'd always done 9 to 5 warehouse jobs my whole life. Like that's all I'd ever really done, and I had one when I first moved to LA the first year, and eventually, you know, you go on tour and they're like, okay, you know, they let me slide with it once, but then the next time one came up, they were like, yeah, we can't, you know, can't just keep letting you come and go. And I was like, okay, so quit. And then I was like, well, what the fuck am I going to do now? And I couldn't find, this is like 2017 into 18. I suddenly just couldn't land another job like I normally had. And I was like, well, fuck, you know, somehow along the way, I was like, I'll just try doing Lyft. I'll be a Lyft driver for a minute. And it was cool. I was like, it worked for like a year. And I toured a bunch that year with Power Man, so it worked out. I could come and go whenever I wanted. I was my own boss. But then it just started getting lame, and I wasn't making that much money. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? I need something that's flexible. And there was this bartending school like a block up the road from me, and I drive past it all the time. And I would just see it and didn't really ever think much of it. And I think an ad popped up on Instagram or something that was like, you know, first lesson free. And I was like, fuck it, I'll try it. And I went in and I ended up fucking loving it. And I got like super psyched on it. And I was like, man, I want to do this. I want to be good at it. I suddenly just got the bug. I was into it. And I did the 2-week course or whatever. And then they sent me out some interviews. They got me my first job, which looking back, God, that was a shit show. But that was fucking terrible. But yeah, they got me my first job, and I worked at this Mexican restaurant for like a year. It had live music, and it was fun. And I experienced. The money was shit, but I was like so just psyched on being that I was doing it that I didn't care. I was like, this is fun. So. And they let me come and go, let me go on tour. They were all about it. And I've just been doing it ever since. And I've been working at the W in Hollywood since 3 years now. 2021, holy shit. Yeah, it was like just August of 21. And been doing it since. And I know I see you posting stuff and making cocktails. And you're like, a veteran. Like you're making cocktail lists. Like I'm not gonna do that, but I mean I can make some decent drinks or whatever. But yeah, I know you're in the game and have been for a long time. So yeah, respect, man.
No, appreciate it, man. But no. And as far as like the making the cocktail list thing, like I kind of fell into that. Like literally, I wish it was some like glamorous story of no, I worked my way up to like mixologist, and this is what I am, and I'm the man. No, fuck that.
They're like, here,
I am a common garden vegetable, but. I've been at my bar now for so long that when COVID hit and put us out of work for 3 months, not with the exception of chef and the management team, I was their first phone call back.
Oh, nice.
And so it was such a skeleton crew because like a lot of bars and restaurants, you could only really staff so much because you could only really have so many guests because they were so particular about it. Like,
Yep.
1 minute you're only to go orders, other minute you can have like 20% occupancy, and
Right.
it was
Right.
a mess. So I benefited from my seniority of getting right back to work and stuff like that. But with coming back to work meant that we needed a cocktail list, because I wasn't the bar head when COVID hit. I was a bartender. I'm a server that doubles as a bartender, and I developed a little skill in it, and I'm pretty confident in my abilities. And so, but I was kind of the only guy, and I was like, well, let me think about what I think works, what works for my bar based on my experience on what I saw sold.
Totally.
And what I also think will work just best overall. And it's a funny story with that, because so I'm a firm believer. I hate cocktails that are like 7 or 8 ingredients.
Oh my God. Yes. Thank you.
Oh my God, dude, I'm such a prima donna.
Specialty cocktail menu, you assholes. Fuck off.
Yes, yes, dude, for real. I'm the biggest prima donna, just Chris. I fucking hate it. I'm like, look, if you don't have your cocktail basically done, if not done by 4 ingredients, you're trying way too hard. You're not cooking Thanksgiving dinner. Stop trying so damn hard.
Right.
I was specializing around 4 to 5 ingredients and being done, where the 5th ingredient is maybe the bitters you use or something.
Right.
So I was keeping it on that. But the other thing I actually had to play with as well is I came back to $40,000 worth of inventory that's sitting on the shelf. So I was like, fuck, man, before I can suggest stuff, or before management can buy some more things, I need to put a dent into this. So I was also trying to work cocktails that I could change out the base spirit of. And I'm not talking about something super, super drastic. If you use a super, a traditional gin, you then can't swap it out with a really a Navy strength, or you can't swap it out with a super Junipero version, because you're going to taste that. But certain spirits that have similar bodies and profiles, I could swap out, when I burned off 4 bottles of this spirit, I could swap it over to this one. And it wasn't changing the complexity too much, to where I could burn out some inventory, and then I could just get it consistent. Be like, no, this is the spirit I like. This is what I want. Frankly, I'm pulling rank. This is my drink. This is how I want it done.
I love it.
But that kind of stuff. But yeah, now I'm kind of back to doing the dominant server thing, but with kind of my thumb on the pulse, because the drinks are on my cocktail menu for the restaurant are still all of mine, with the exception of one, because it was designed by a previous teammate of mine who then went a different direction to a different bar. And I was like, he didn't give me his recipe, but it was a good drink, a quality drink for this maple and ginger infused syrup that he made.
Gotcha.
And it's well, I don't want to make a stupid decision against the house. It's a quality drink. It's a good drink. Why? It's a $19 drink. Why cut your nose off to spite your face? So I had to tweak the recipe a little bit for that to make it work, since I didn't have his version. But other than that, it's cool, and it's fun to be creative, and it definitely works for those same juices. But also, Ty, just like you were kind of hinting at, because it really is true. When you're involved in certain things like the music industry and stuff like that, restaurants I did find were always super flexible when it came to that kind of stuff, because even if you have to semi-train somebody to kind of fill in those gaps, or fill in servers and stuff, it's a little bit more servers are a little bit more available and stuff if somebody has to leave for a tour.
Yeah, and I found that, especially here, most of the people working there are actors or, musicians, artists. They got something else that this is obviously their day gig, but they have something else going on outside, and that's there's a lot of that in the field, I feel so but I wanted to just real quick be watching is gonna give a shit probably, but holy shit, man, the cocktail program that they got, this new management came on board, they're horrible, and they have there's this fucking margarita that has like 7 different things going on. And I'm just like, fuck off. Like, this drink sucks. Fucking carrot juice, fuck off. Like, anyways. Sorry, dude, I had to vent a little bit.
No, dude, you're good. No, like I said, it's the same thing with me. I mean,
Like,
one pre-COVID, a bartender that I worked with had put together this drink with like 8 fucking ingredients, and they weren't keeping up with certain things, and syrups weren't getting made. This milk they were using was going bad because it was a tasty drink, yes, but it was so labor intensive.
Yeah, too many
and it wasn't selling enough, and ingredients were going bad, and I was just like, stop.
They beat it. And I mean, dude, if you get and as soon as it gets like really busy, all that shit goes out the window, dude. You're like, you're not gonna fucking sit there and tinker with a fucking umbrella. You're like, next, let's go. Like, fucking, you know what I mean? You're not
absolutely
fucking come on. So, anyways, well, enough of that.
No, for sure. But in like a fun closer for this topic, like, what are some of the drinks that like just you enjoy, whether it's making or even drinking? Are you like a hard spirits kind of guy? Do you like you know, citrus or like floral kind of thing? Are you into like old fashions? What are some of the things that you just dig?
I'm a vodka guy, but not like, I'm not going to take vodka shots, but I mean, I like my vodka soda. I mean, I like, weirdly, I like a White Russian. I'll do an espresso martini too, but I've been making this one that's, I don't know, I guess it's a kind of a riff on a kamikaze a little bit, but it's just basically vodka, triple sec, the sweetened lime juice, orange and regular bitters, and I serve it up in a martini glass, and I don't know. That's my go-to at home, and I make it for people randomly when they're like, they like something a little. They're like, not too sweet, and I'm like, you like vodka? Like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of tart. Anyways, anytime I make it for somebody, they dig it. So that's kind of like my go-to. But I don't mind making espresso martinis. It's fun. You know, anytime somebody hits me with make me a Mai Tai, I don't know why I get excited about that, because it's not very often. And I think they think there's going to be like a bunch of pineapple juice or some bullshit in it, and then like going for the traditional route where it's just like the white rum, the lime, the orgeat, and the Cointreau, and your dark rum float. And I don't know. For some reason, I like making that drink. Whatever. As stupid as it is, anytime somebody's like, "Let me get a Long Island," not that often, I'm like, "Fuck yeah, dude, let's do it." I just like grabbing the bottles and just dumping it in. It's like the dump truck drink.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. One of my coworkers at my restaurant, he likes to call it a Strong Island.
Yeah, strong. That's my manager said that yesterday. Literally, he was like, "Strong Island." I'm like, all right.
No, for sure. But it's all good. Yeah, I've always, like when I'm on my own time, even like when I'm doing the show and stuff like that. Like, I'm a huge like red wine nerd. That's kind of like my big thing in general. But when it comes to like cocktails, I've always been like a whiskey guy. Like similar when you were talking like vodka sodas, like when I'm at shows or just relaxing and chilling with friends or something like that, it's like Jack and Cokes all day long. It's just kind of like my go-to kind of standard concert drink and stuff like that. But yeah, we do a fun drink on the menu right now. That's a vodka based drink. That's kind of my like spin off of a Cosmo, but instead of doing cranberry juice, I made like a hibiscus syrup for it.
Okay.
And I top it actually with a little prosecco, so it's kind of light and flirty and kind of sexy and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. So I have certain drinks too where I like to be like, yeah, okay, I got something, because like you, I'll do that. I'll be like, okay, you're unsure, no biggie. What's your flavor profile? Like, just give me a little something, and I'll take it from there.
Yeah, you like sweet, you like sour. What are you looking for, kind of thing. And and usually they're like not too sweet, or I like really sweet. So it's kind of usually one or the other. But fucking A, fun, good stuff.
Absolutely, man, for sure. And Metal Summoners, just want to let you guys know that, like, hey, we still got Ty for a little bit of time. We don't want to eat up too much of his evening, but he's been rocking out with us. So make sure that you guys are pumping in any comments, questions, curiosities that you have. Angel and I will always clear the board and everything, and make sure that you guys are heard, because, hey, absolutely, we appreciate you guys, but we also want to be respectful of Ty's time as well. Ty, we've definitely been kicking it. It's been awesome so far. When you currently look at how the year is shaping up for you for the rest of 2024 and into 2025, is obviously we've talked about your dates with Orgy that you've got coming up with the festivals in Australia. When it comes to playing out right now, is it mostly those dates that you're, because those are what's announced, or is there anything else that you have currently planned for the year?
No, I mean just those at the moment. I mean, there's talks of possibly maybe some other stuff around those dates, but nothing's confirmed. So it's just those ones at the moment. Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely. And when you're looking at like, you were talking, I found this really interesting. So I just wanted to kind of circle back around to it. When you were talking about playing out live and getting like super fulfilled by Orgy when it comes to that, is that, obviously when you're going out on tour and you're playing live music, that's always got to be like the forefront and stuff like that, because it's obviously you're going to be hating life if you're not enjoying playing live.
Yeah.
What would you say are the things about being on stage that you find just the most exciting and like gratifying for you personally? Like crowd, guitar, new music. How do you look at that?
Yeah, dude, good question, man. It's a lot of things. It's you just kind of get to go into this sort of because I mean, growing up, I was a fan. I'm a fan, so I watched all my favorite bands. I watched the videos, and you see them rocking out and doing the moves or whatever, and I've just watched so many music videos and live performances, and just as a fan, you kind of want to like. You want to do that, you know what I mean? So when you get to go up there and do it, I just kind of get to live out and reenact my fandom of like what I was influenced by, and I'm up there getting to do it. So that's extremely satisfying, and it's like this outlet. You get to be expressive in this performance way, and it's just this like this whole energy that. It's like this valve you get to, let the pressure out, and you get to fucking just get your kicks out, man. And it's a rush. It's exciting. It's fun, and it's just so satisfying in so many different ways. And then you do it, and you get off stage, and you're just like buzzing from it, and it just never gets old, man. It just never gets old, and sometimes you have a bad show. That sucks. You have some technical difficulties, or fucking you fuck up, or who knows? There's always shit that comes with it. But it's just there's just it hits on so many different points of satisfaction that it never gets old, man. It never gets old. Yeah. Absolutely, man.
Yeah. For sure. And before I kick it back to Angel, a fun just curiosity question, opinion question for you. What gets a bigger pop, like a bigger crowd reaction? Was it When Worlds Collide or Blue Monday?
Oh, about the same.
About the same? I can see how it would be about even.
Yeah, I mean the only difference is that it's about the same, because those are like if you know the band, that's probably even the slightest bit, that's probably the song you're gonna know. But Jay you saw it. He goes out in the crowd and really riles everyone up and has people singing, and it's so it's very interactive. Mm-hmm. So that's the difference, is that he's interactive through that whole song, and that really just sort of, and then the whole thing climaxes at the end with this sort of jam with "You Spin Me Round," and it's very the crescendo is there, so that part of it is awesome. But Worlds Collide, I mean, everyone knew it. Everyone would get psyched and go nuts, and yeah, they're both great moments. Yeah,
absolutely, man, for sure. Actually, getting back to that Baltimore show, it was also kind of crazy too, because your drummer was really sick that night, but he was a fucking trooper, dude.
Oh yeah, Wade's a badass. I mean, that guy. I was so psyched to jam with that guy. I mean, he was awesome, and he's showy, and he's really good, and And he played with Prong and like, Doyle, and he's been around the block, but yeah, he was awesome, and he was having a rough night. And I mean, I kind of just I didn't know until like after set, and just there was a couple moments in the set where I was like, something kind of sounded weird for a second, but like I'm so wrapped up in all the other things going on that I kind of heard it, and I was just kind of like, huh, that was weird. But then we were like right back on with everything, so it didn't really, I felt like it didn't like affect me too much. I don't know how it sounded out front. Maybe it was more noticeable, but yeah, he was having a rough night, man, and but he pulled through. So yeah.
No, for sure. And no, honestly, it sounded solid on the floor. I mean, there might have been like you said, a couple of things like a couple of pops that like you're gonna notice because obviously you guys as a band are in tune and tweaked that way.
Yeah.
But nothing, and I know the Orgy catalog well enough to where if something's like weird or really off, I'm gonna be like kind of like you, like what was that? But nothing translated to me as a viewer that anything seemed like off and stuff. I like heard something about it. And like, one of my friends who was at the show is a big like set list guy, like loves looking at what the set list is played on tour. And I'm like, hey, keep that shit to yourself. But I knew that like, Slept So Long was on the set, and I'm a huge Queen of the Damned fan too. So I was like, yes, I'm so stoked that they're playing that live. But I could tell that like, there was a little bit of like, just kind of like, dicing off that probably needed to happen. But he was still also up on stage, like packing his gear. And I'm like, dude, go lie down.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, he was the guy that had like the most stuff to deal with every night. So, but yeah, he had a rough one. Again, like it was still good, and as long as it sounded good out front, then hey man, shit happens. The show went on, and but yeah, he was having a rough one that night.
God, absolutely, man. But no, for sure, sounded solid. Really did sound good for sure. Right. Angel, let's kick it over to you, my good friend. We'll go around the table one more time, and we'll let Ty enjoy his evening.
Have you ever thought about creating a drink and naming it after one of your songs?
No. Nah, I'm not.
Curious to ask.
No, I appreciate it, man. No, I'm not. Nah, I'm good. Somebody else can do that. I'm not gonna, but yeah.
No, Jay would make drinks and name them after.
Of course,
after songs.
Yeah. I'll do that. I'll play around with the Raygun Romance catalog.
Right, cool. I mean, thank you.
I'm already going to tell you right now it's going to be a vodka drink.
I love it. I'm in.
What time of the year is your favorite to tour? Is it summer? Is it winter? Spring? Fall?
I guess. Well, I mean, winter's rough because I had a really bad experience touring with Powerman, and it was the one with Orgy actually in 2017. And we started it in January, and we started in Colorado, and then we went up into like, the East Coast and like New York and Canada, and it was like I had never been that cold in my fucking entire life. It was like I think we were somewhere by Buffalo or something, and I remember in the morning going to try to walk across the street to get coffee with somebody, and we made it like 30 seconds and my face started hurting, and I was like, nope, going back, can't do it. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? We had to like get a lift to go across the street. It was insane. I was like, it's just too fucking cold. So not to sound like a pussy, I just, I'm a California kid. I've experienced snow, but that was next level, dude. Like your face fucking started burning because it was so cold. And so I would say that like spring, summer, fall, that's cool. But like dead of winter, probably not the best time. But I would do it. I mean, if somebody was like, we're touring in January, I'd be like, all right, let's go. Fuck it, I'll figure it out. Yeah. But and then our bus. On that same note, our bus that we had, the heat stopped working, and so we were like freezing for like weeks. It was fucking brutal, man. It was gnarly.
Dang, yeah.
It was gnarly. It was like there was ice cubes floating in like the coffee maker water. It was fucking nuts. So. I can laugh about it now. At the time, I was like, "We're gonna die. I'm gonna get frostbite. It's insane." Like, anyhow, yeah.
Oh, that would drive me crazy. I cannot have my coffee at risk.
I know. Yeah.
Iced coffee.
There you go. Yeah. I was like,
look, I'm down for iced coffee. Don't get me wrong. Like, but periodically. But even in the summer, like, I'm just a hot coffee guy.
Yeah,
just coffee. That's
coffee's supposed to be. I like it hot. It's supposed to be hot. You know?
Yeah, totally.
When you're going out on tour, how many guitars do you take with you, and what are the guitars that go on the road with you?
I thought maybe one was out, but no, I've had the same ones, the same two ESP baritone. They're LTDs actually. I've had the same two guitars since I first joined Powerman, and I've been using those every show, every tour, all the way up through the last one with Orgy. I mean, I've just used the same two guitars. They were kind enough to, at the time, Nick Quijano, the guitar player that was in Powerman, he hooked me up with ESP, and they just like gave me the guitars, like, and I've just had them ever since. And that's the ones I've been using, man. And until something changes or they break, I'm using those guys. Yeah, because they can handle those crazy low tunings, and like they're set up for that. So and they look cool. They got the pointy headstock, which I like. They're Strat style, so it's my jam, man. Yeah.
Back to you, Jay.
No, absolutely, for sure. No, Ty, as always, man, we really appreciate it, man. And the biggest thing that's always been, the biggest thing for me and Angel is like that you had a good time, that you enjoyed yourself, you liked the questions that you were asked, you felt you felt respected, and that you felt that this that the interview was beneficial to not only you personally, but getting Orgy's tour dates out there, but just that you felt respected and you had a good time and you felt it was worth your time.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys even asking me to be on here. Definitely felt the love, and had a great time, man. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Awesome, man. And before we let you go for the evening, let everybody else know again where you can be found, tour dates can be found, and where Raygun can be found.
Okay, so Ty Oliver. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, not so much anymore, but I'm on there. And just look up Raygun Romance on Spotify, Instagram, YouTube. There's music videos. There's new stuff coming, I promise. But if you haven't checked it out, just look it up on Spotify. The album Between the Lines is out there. And again on Instagram. And then Orgy, just check out Orgy on Instagram, Facebook. You can find him. The dates are coming. Again, Loud from Life Festival, Aftershock, and then Australia in October with Cold. So, yeah, man. Thanks again for having me, you guys.
Absolutely. No, an absolute pleasure, man. We really appreciate it. Metal Summoners, thank you guys so much. Thank you as always for tuning in, showing Ty so much love and support, asking cool, fun questions, and just rocking out with me and Angel. We really appreciate you guys. You can find Angel Alamo at Angel Alamo 78 on Instagram. You can also find him on Facebook as well. The easiest way to find me is on Instagram at salem.vampire, but I also am available on Facebook as well. Make sure that you're supporting Ty in all of his ventures and supporting his socials as well. A shout out to the Mad Shad for the Mad Shad channel. He's the one who designed our intro. We really, really appreciate him. So check him out on his YouTube channel. Give him a subscribe and show him some love. We really appreciate him putting that together for us. But all in all, thank you guys so much, Metal Summoners. We love you guys. We will actually see you guys tomorrow night. You guys have seen the announcement. We will be on with Kix's Ronnie Younkins. He'll be coming in, getting back on with us and rocking out with us as well. Again, Ty, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Your family, you're my bro. And thanks again, man. It was just awesome to get to see you again and wrap out. And thanks again, man.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a
Absolutely.
good Cheers.
Absolutely. Reach out anytime, man. And Angel and I do have a gig popping up in November with a hosting thing we're going to be doing at the Whiskey November 7th. If you're in town, man, I'll let you know, dude. Love you to come out.
Yeah, bug me, dude. If I'm not working, I'll come out, dude.
Sounds great, man. Absolutely. Cool. Thanks again, Metal Summoners. We appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your week.